happen.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey, we are live. Thank goodness. We have been trying to get on here to bring you the Change podcast, Insights into Empowerment, and it looks like it finally worked. I have a very interesting guest today, and I cannot wait to talk to her. This lady is an electrical engineer working with energy and frequencies in all forms. She is also a personal energy strategist, and she explains to clients all over the world quantum physics and how to manage and shift energies. So I want to welcome today Cornelia Kawann, and I hope I pronounced that correctly.
There is no right or wrong. And thank you, Nicole, for
Oh,
having me. It's really an honor
well,
to
I'm very,
be
very
with you.
excited. Yeah, you have a very interesting bio and a very interesting job. So, as an electrical engineer, tell us a little bit about that.
Actually, my interest in electric energy started when I was quite little, when I was about, I think, was around 4 years old. And I don't know about you, but I was always so fascinated when my mom plugged something in, like a mixer or a vacuum cleaner, and then all this magic all of a sudden happened. And so I really wanted to know what's in there, right? And so one afternoon, I was playing in the backyard, and I found a really big nail, and I thought, wow, that's now a good idea. Now I can check out what's in there. And so I sneaked back into my room, and then I did something I wouldn't recommend anybody doing. So I pushed it into the plug, and then the next thing I remember was that I was lying in the middle of the room, and my mom was bending over me, and I thought, oh, what happened? And so I was very lucky, so that the security system was a little bit faster than myself, but it still got hit, and and it really changed my life, because in that moment I decided, this is so powerful, and now I really want to know what's in there. And that's why I studied electrical engineering, and I can tell you now, I do know how the electricity is coming into the socket. And yeah, and I really enjoy it.
Oh my goodness. As a mom of two, that's
Yes.
like a mom's worst nightmare is their child carrying around a nail to plug into a socket. So,
Yes.
oh my good. I mean, I'm glad you lived through it. So we're here to talk about it. But my goodness, did you have to go to the hospital?
I think my mom was so shocked she didn't even think about it at that moment, and and I seemed to be fine, so she never. So no, we never did, and
Never did.
apparently
Oh my
it
gosh.
energized me so much. Now that's why I have so much energy now.
Oh goodness. And so from an electrical engineer, I know sometimes that's critical thinking like this. You don't often go out of the box with that. But you're talking about energy and frequencies in all forms, and you also work with clients with quantum physics, right?
Yes.
Okay. How did you were you always interested in that as well? Or what was like the catalyst to kind of help you understand that you can help people understand energy and frequencies?
No, and yeah, we are kind of really. No, we're not narrow-minded, but of course we are scientists, and we were all brought up with Newton, and Newton said, if you can't see it, if you can't touch it, and if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. And this was, that's very, very. I saw the world for a very long time, and then of course, I was doing research, and then I discovered all of a sudden, there is some, what's quantum science, right? It just came to my attention. And then I looked into it, and I said, wow, isn't this incredible? Because what, in a way, I know it sounds very scientific, quantum science, but it's so easy. In a way, it just says everything has just its own energy and frequency. And I know what energy is, I know what the frequency is. And I started thinking about it. it's not about only like this phone or this laptop. It's just energy, our body, but it's also every thought, every emotion, right? And so it's just a frequency, and it's somewhere in my energy system. And then yeah, in a way, I started experimenting with my own energy.
Well, tell us a little bit about that. What, with your own body, what did you start working with or start doing to give you more of an understanding of how energy affects everything?
Mm-hmm. So, like, first thing, I I looked into my own body.
Hmm.
And because, of course, I was one of these people, they always said, like, yeah, if you can't see this energy is a little bit woo woo. But then I started looking into it, and I learned that it's just the very simple version of it, but it helped me to understand the whole situation much better. And it's, we have our phones and computers, and we all know, we don't know how they work, but we know there are little micro amperes flowing in there, little little currents flowing in there, and there needs to be some voltage in these chips so that they are working. And we also know what we learned in our physics class: if there is current flowing, there's an electromagnetic field around it. That's just physics, right? So I thought, people in a way are believing that there's an electromagnetic field around our phone or any electric device. Now, nobody has ever seen it, but we all believe it, and some can even feel it, right? But nobody is questioning that. And then I looked into our own body, and then I said, you know, voltages, mini voltages. And I remembered my biology class, and I was taught that between the nucleus and the cell membrane, there always needs to be a voltage, millivoltage of minus 70 millivolt, because then it's only a healthy cell, right? And like cancer cells, for example, they only have minus 10 millivolts, and that they can't keep the tension in the cell, and that's why they suck off all the energy from the other cells, and that's why we get sick. So I thought, so we have millivolts in our body, and then now in Europe, it's very popular to work on your nervous system. But what's our nervous system? It's the communication of our brain with our organs and our limbs, and in a way, and if you look into it, it's just millicurrents. It's very
Hmm.
milliampere, very small currents flowing through our body. So if we have currents flowing in our body and we have voltages, why is it so difficult to understand that we are having our electromagnetic field around us as well, right? And I thought, okay, I know we have this field here. And then I just started experimenting, and I thought, that there are a lot of emotions and also thoughts and whatever, they're kind of stored also in this electromagnetic field, and or beliefs. And so I started thinking, okay, wait a minute, this is a belief, right? And then I figured out it's just a frequency, and then I started kind of removing these frequencies from my energy body, and I could feel a difference in it. And then so I started experimenting with myself, and I noticed there are so many similarities between electric energy and our personal energy. Just for
Wow.
example, like the way of resistance, right? Now, if you remember Ohm's law, like currents always flow if where there's the least resistance. It's also with the energy in our body, if you're, and even if we're resisting against something, right? So it's blocking things. So there are so many similarities. So for me, it's just so logic.
I think so too. And, I can remember learning about energy. And it was like just this class I was taking. They said, make energy balls.
Mm-hmm.
And once you kind of become aware of it, and I'm not like you, I don't understand it at the capacity you do, but you can feel resistance between your hand. And they used to have us make it as big as we want it and infuse it with healing, and we'd put it someplace on our body.
Yes, very cool. Yeah, I love
So
it.
is,
Yeah.
is
I think
that
that, yeah.
similar to what you did? I mean, you can feel the resistance in your hands as well, right?
Yeah, I know this exercise, and I think it's very powerful, and it helps people understand that even if we don't see it, yeah, that's the big difference. We can all feel it, right? Either with our hands or if we enter a room or whatever. So we just kind of forgot about it, or we lost this skill to feel it, but we all feel it because we are natural energy beings, right? And that's why I think it's not about learning something new, but more about remembering.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I think right now we're in a time of remembrance of our power. So I love that you said that. And you know, Tesla has the quote. He says to understand the universe, you have to think about energy, frequency, and vibration. So can you explain to our audience the difference between energy and frequency?
So in a frequency, it's just I don't know if you remember your physics class. It's just like this wave you see, right? Like the sinus,
Mhm.
cosinus. So it goes up, and then you have this hill, and then you have this value, and then the frequency in the wave says how many values and hills and values you're having within a second. So, like even if in Europe here, the electricity that is coming from into through the plug or the system in Europe, the the electricity is flowing with a frequency of 50 hertz. So there is a unit of saying of how many values you're having within 1 second. That's the unit in hertz, and the energy is kind of the amount. Yeah, I still have to use the word energy, stored in this frequency, because if you imagine like you have a frequency, like a very wide and slow frequency, right? There are not many values, and so there is not much energy stored in that because it's so wide stretched. There's not much going on. This is a low frequency, and it also has low energy. But if you have like a very high frequency like this, then you already, you can feel why it's kind of sparkling, and that there is more energy than stored in it.
Okay, that's so interesting. And it's just, I don't know, it fascinates me because I work with energy as well, like with energy healing. And so many people don't believe in that. And you have a quote, you say your energy is your bio. So
Yes,
what tell people what that means.
no, for me, in a way, it's my quote is my energy is my business card in a way. And
Okay.
what I mean with this is that, you can fake many things, or you can pretend, or you can say many things, but deep inside, you're not even deep inside. You have around you, you have your energy, and there are your thoughts, your beliefs, and they are stored in there. And also, what I mean with it is that wherever you go, you always have your energy with you. It's always around you. You can't kind of pull it off and then throw it somewhere. It's just with you. And people can feel that. And this, even when sometimes we are speaking with people, we can feel, we can't nail it, but sometimes we feel there's something off. And this is sometimes when what we feel, like what is stored in this energy from this person, deviates from what the person is saying. And that's what I'm always saying, in the way, your energy can't lie. It's just there, and it's so much more powerful, but most people don't trust it. And I think for me, it's so much more important to kind of, yeah, actually not, because words can be, you can say everything, but the meaning behind it is so much more powerful. And this is that's what I mean with this quote. And I think it's also very important that we kind of, yeah, try to pay more attention, what's really behind it, and also communicate more with these energies.
Yeah, I love that. And you know, I notice that like when we go into a big room of people, you can feel if something's off or something's correct or something's negative. You know,
Mhm.
I've learned to feel that, and it's, I think it's a great way to keep yourself back from someone like that, because I don't like to pick up anyone's energy.
Yeah, that's
You know, so I'm always very aware of that. What kind of advice would you give to someone that's just learning about energy and what they should do when they walk like in a room of full of people?
um yeah, and for people who really want to start working with their energy, I have kind of these four pillars of personal energy management, how I call it, because I think that energy management is the new time management. It's so much more powerful than managing your time. And so, as you already said, the first thing and definitely is being aware, also to figure out what's actually giving you, who or what is giving you energy, and who and what is draining your energy, because most people don't even know. Just to, and for me, energy is also a little bit like a bank account, right? So if you spend energy, then you need to kind of, get some refills from wherever. And then the second pillar, in a way, is definitely what most people don't do, and that refers to what you just said, because we're cleaning our body. Most of us are showering, brushing their teeth, washing their hairs, and combing them. But I have only met few people who are also cleaning their energy body. And as you said before, it just by imagine, if you have a very small energy body, then it's around 2 meters around your body. So of course here we are now on a virtual call, but imagine yourself being at a concert, in the supermarket, in a bus. People are standing next to you, and what happens? Your energy mingles. There's no way you can prevent that. And then exactly happens something what you're saying. You can pick up some thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and they're not even yours, right? And then you walk out of the supermarket and think, "Why I'm angry? Nothing happened," right? And because it's not
Yes.
even your anger, you just picked it up at the cashier. And that's what I'm saying. It's so important that you clean your energy every evening from all those stuff that is not yours. And you don't want to take these foreign thoughts and beliefs into your bed and into your dreams. And then the third pillar, in a way, is to recharge your energy. And as you plug in your phone when it's getting empty, right? But most people don't recharge their own energy. And then there are the fourth thing, in a way, I think it's very, very important, especially for women, because it's so, what I've noticed, and I'm one of them, it's so difficult for women to say no. And when you're asked, of course, you can always do this. And even if you're already kind of completely busy, you can squeeze in other things and make it happen for others. And what I've learned, when I set up these energetic boundaries around me, and then I said, well, this is my energy, right? And like really claim my space, people can feel that. And they're more reluctant to ask. And then it's so much more convenient because then I don't have to say no.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I learned that lesson when I volunteered at my child's school, because once you volunteer for one thing, they want your life. So I learned to say no really quickly to that. But would you tell people how they can clean their energy? What's a good way to do that?
There are different ways, right? But what I really enjoy, in a way, is that I always stand next to my bed so I don't forget it. It's always good to connect it with something you're normally doing. And so I always, before I jump in, I always kind of stop and say, no, energy cleaning. And then the way there in my book, the change your energy, change your life, there are a couple of different ways how you can do it. Well, how I do it is that I kind of just close my eyes, and then I connect with all the things and all the energies that do not belong to me, do not serve me anymore. And then I just imagine those thoughts flowing out of my physical body into the earth. And then from my body is already so trained that when I start the exercise, my body, I don't know if you've noticed, it tilts a little bit forward. And when everything is flown out, then it goes up, back upwards. And then I know, okay, everything is gone.
That's wonderful. And then to recharge, how do you recharge that energy?
I think the recharging is the easiest thing, because if you look at, you have two children, and I remember my own too. When they were very small, they had kind of this unlimited energy. They really never ever were tired. That you have to learn so many things, right? And then when they really is enough, then they're really tired. But they can try. They learn walking and crawling and talking, and they just not stop because they have so much energy. They just continue until they can. And what I've noticed is that kids or small kids, they're generally still connected to the quantum field directly. And this connection is
Oh,
very
interesting.
stable, and that's where they're getting all their energy from. And for some reason, with growing up, maybe because of our environment, we just kind of lose these connections. And that's why we then have to find other ways to recharge our energy. But the easiest way, and that's also described in the book, is to reconnect with the quantum field and then have this continuous stream of energy back connected with you. And so that's the easiest way.
Okay. You know what? I like to walk barefoot.
Yeah.
And I like it anywhere, but I particularly like it on grass. There's
Mm-hmm.
something about walking on grass that just really charges me. Have you done that as well?
I love it too, and I think it's I love the feeling, but it's also very, very good for, it's also good for grounding. But there is one more thing why this is so important, because with all these electromagnetic devices around us, normally as I said, our cells have this minus 70 millivolts, so we have a negative charge. And the thing is, with
Mm.
all this electromagnetic smog and around us, we get positively charged. And when you walk barefooted on grass or on earth, this positive charge can flow up into the earth, and then you have your natural negative charge again.
Okay. Okay. It's just so interesting to me because, if I walk on the beach or if I walk on the grass, I feel energized. Even if I'm really tired, I'm like, oh, I
Mhm.
don't want to do this. And I do it. It's like, I'm always so glad I did.
Nature is always a very good place to recharge, and either you go mountains, in the forest, or at the water on the beach. Nature is the best source to recharge.
And so all those people that we made fun of for hugging trees actually know what they're doing, don't they?
Exactly. I'm hugging trees sometimes as well. So, and they have such a, yeah, they are
Oh,
very, very powerful, and they have a very specific energy.
yeah, I love that. Now, you are the founder of Energy On. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
In a way, it's a little bit related to my story. And um, if maybe you're in Europe in 2022, we had an energy crisis here. And so there were a shortage on gas, and I thought, once again, so many similarities between electric energy and our personal energy, because yes, we did have this energy crisis and shortage in the energy system. But if you look around in the corporate world, there are so many people with burnout. They feel exhausted, they are tired. And then I thought, yeah, but if you know how to reconnect with your energy and turn that energy on, right, life is so much easier. And that's what I noticed with many of my clients, because most of them, when they come, they're really in survival mode. They have this
Mhm.
long to-do list, they're exhausted, every day is repetitive, and they're just thinking from today until the next day, or maybe even till the weekend. And what I've noticed, once they have learned how to manage their energy, their life changed completely. And the reason for this is because with more energy, you see opportunities and solutions. And that's why life is perceived so much easier. And that's the big shift, because your system only shows you all these solutions and opportunities when you also have the energy to execute them. And because it doesn't make any sense to give you, oh yeah, you could do that if you would have a little bit more energy. So in a way, you only see that if you really can do it. And that's why I think having a lot of energy makes a huge difference. And for me, I'm still working in the corporate world. I have my own business. I'm a single mom, have two teenage daughters, and I'm writing books. And there's always enough energy because I know how to manage it.
Wow. Good for you. That's amazing. And you do say when you learn to manage your own energy, it's a shortcut to reaching your own goals.
Exactly.
Tell us about how you've reached your goal and others can reach theirs by managing their energy.
You know, I can I can tell you a story of one of my clients, because it was really impressive. Because of course, transformation or real shifts, if you really want to change something or change something big in your life, it takes also some time. So
Mhm.
she came to me, and I have my 4 months mastermind, and where we work on all energy levels to remove blockades to that are actually in the moment keeping you from reaching your goal. And the goal would be that after these 4 to 6 months, you can energetically hold that. So she came to me and said, you know, I have long COVID, or I just came, I went back to my corporate job, but I don't like it anymore. And actually, I want to move from Germany back to Switzerland, and I would like to have a boyfriend. Can we do that? And,
Sure.
and I said, yeah, of course.
Of course we can.
Let's get started, right? And the thing is, after 7 months, all of this had happened. And
Wow.
that was so incredible. She really kind of healed from her long COVID. She she didn't want to leave she didn't resign from her job because she wanted to have like an golden handshake to leave. So she managed to get that. And before that, she was going to visit some friends in Switzerland, and on the plane, sitting next to her, she met her boyfriend, right? Yes.
No.
And he said, they dated for, a few weeks, and then she moved with everything to Switzerland, right into his house. And now she's setting up her own business. And I said, wow, you're crazy.
Wow. That is cool. So maybe if we learn to change our energy, we learn to manifest faster.
Yeah, because you're on a higher frequency. A lot of work, what I'm doing is to remove blockades. And this can be like stored energy, stored emotions, limiting beliefs, events, whatever. And you need to remove them on all levels of your energy, because there is not only one energy. You have the physical energy, you have the energetic energy, emotional, mental, and then also the spiritual energy. And you need to work on all these levels. And yeah, if all these blockades are gone, you automatically increase your energy and also your frequency, and then you're a different match for everything that's out there.
That is amazing. And we are almost out of time, and I could talk to you for hours. This is so
Oh,
fascinating.
thank
But
you so much.
before we go, just give our audience a few nuggets. I mean, you've got so much knowledge about this. One or two things that, will help them start this process.
I think, yeah, in a way, best nugget, of course, would be you have a look at my book, because there are 39 energy exercises in there, and they all don't take longer than 3 minutes. And
Ooh,
you do have 3 minutes per day, right? And most of these energy exercises, because they are so short and so powerful, because I'm very busy, and I know most women are very busy as well. So of course I like to meditate, but most of the time when you're stressed or you need to get things done, or you need support in that moment. And that's why I created all these short exercises. So if you want to have recharge your energy, you can go to the restroom in wherever you are for 3 minutes and recharge your energy. I did it. I still do it in my corporate world, but and I'm quite sure my colleagues are still wondering what I'm doing in there when I go in there and then come out like, okay, let's get this meeting
Do this.
started. And so I think I would start with one or two of these exercises that really resonate with you, and then you will feel the difference, and that just makes you continuing. And I have so many reviews and feedbacks from people. I've never believed in this, but actually these exercises really do work. I'm surprised, and then they just continue.
That's wonderful. And, I just want the audience to know that all of the links to get a hold of this wonderful lady or to buy that book are going to be in her description. So I know I'm going to be buying a book. I know that for sure. So, Cornelia, this has been a lovely interview, and you are so knowledgeable, and you've simplified it for everybody, because some people just don't quite get what energy is, what frequency is, and how important it is to our everyday life. So I want to thank you for being on here. I love everything you've talked about. And that's why I love this job so much, because I always learn something.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you and your amazing audience. And you must be so proud that you have so many, very cool listeners that are following for already these times. And I can only say, if you want to work on your energy, check out the book, or I even offer like half an hour complimentary personal energy strategy session. So you can have a look in that as well, and you get to know more how I work with you. And it's much easier and than you probably think. So
well, thank you so much. And I'm sure I would love to have you back someday so we can talk more. So thank you for being on this podcast, and we will talk again soon.
Thank you, Nicole. And enjoy your energy, your powerful energy.
Thank you. Oh, goodness, I think we're stuck.